Ciao friends and welcome to Simple Italian Cooking. My name is Liz and I've got a great recipe for you today. I'm so excited to share. It is a classic Italian dessert cookie that's called pizzelles. You've probably seen them in the grocery stores and I know they sell them around here when it comes to holiday and Christmas time. But this recipe is one that is from my family and my Italian roots, and it was passed down to my mother, and she then passed it on to me. And this is the recipe that I'm going to share with you to make nice crispy pizzelles. Pizzelles are just basically a certain type of wafer, and they have a really cool imprint on it. And I'm going to get into that later. And I'm going to show you how to make this using a pizzelle press, okay? Because you got to have a pizzelle press. Don't worry, I got all the links below in the description if you're new to this, so you're not sure what to get. So let's get started here. Let's talk about what is involved in our recipe that comes from my family. Okay, so what we have here is 1.5 cups of flour, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, the 3 eggs, 1/4 cup of the olive oil. I think this is 3 teaspoons of anise. And then we've got the, some people, I can't remember if I did change this to my mom's recipe or not, but the recipe in the book here that came with the pizzelle says use a whole stick of butter. I don't do that. I use a half a stick of butter, and they still come out nice and crispy and really wonderful. And by the way, you need some confectioner's sugar, powdered sugar, because that's what we're going to do at the end when they cool. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to mix the wet ingredients in a large bowl, okay? So that's the first thing we're going to do. Just throw everything in and don't worry about it. I'll tell you what to do. Okay, so I got the eggs. I like to break the eggs in a separate bowl, just because that way if I get any shells in it, it's easier to get out than if I already have the other ingredients in. So just a little tip there. So we just go ahead and add the eggs. Add in the olive oil. Add the anise. Smells so good. You know, you can also do anise and vanilla, or you could do straight vanilla. I need to do a vanilla batch for my husband because he's like, I really want vanilla. So, and then the butter. Now my butter kind of coagulated a little bit, so it's a little thicker than yours will probably look. You want to make sure that it is cooled to room temperature. So just melt it on low over the stove in a small saucepan, and then just set it off to the side. Maybe pour it into another bowl or something, and then go ahead and let that cool while you get everything else together. So, and again, I'm not dealing with the powdered sugar until later, so I'm just getting that out of the way. And I'm going to plug this in here. And just on low, I'm just going to go ahead and mix everything until everything is blended. Okay, perfect. So this is what it looks like. Okay, good already. So now what we're going to do is just go ahead and set that aside, and we're going to mix the dry ingredients. So I have another bowl, and you don't need as big a bowl because we're just going to mix the dry ingredients, and then we're going to slowly add them into the wet ingredients. So let me just get a whisk. All right. Isn't that a cool bowl? Got it from my mother-in-law's. True vintage. And then this is 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Okay, so then add in the sugar. We're going to add in a dash of salt here. And really, I'm just doing like a dash, so not much. All I did was a little bit in the palm and add it in. And I'm using pink Himalayan salt. You can use regular salt. I would do a fine salt. I wouldn't do like kosher, where they're like the larger granules. I really like the pink Himalayan. All right, and that's it. So you just want to make sure that everything is really well incorporated. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and slowly add the flour into the wet ingredients, and we're going to use the mixer to just blend it until it resembles a cookie dough. And I'm just doing it on low because I don't want it to go all over the place. I can tell by looking at it that's exactly how it should be. So, but to give you a close-up view here, let me grab a spoon so you can see. It's thick, right? We don't want it runny because we're going to actually use a cookie scooper, or you can use, a big spoon when we put it into the press. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out these dishes because I need to make room for the Pizzelle press. Okay, so I have my Pizzelle maker already plugged in. It heats up automatically. A lot of them don't have on off. It's like when you plug it in, it just turns on. But this is what the inside looks like. Actually, okay, they get very hot. Okay, these inner plates, if you're not familiar with how a Pizzelle maker works, I probably do a video just on that alone. But you'll notice that these have these little designs. It's very classic Italian designs, and what that represents, baskets, a weave, and then this side represents the flour and the grain and the produce. And so it's kind of cool. So you get one design on each side. They harden really fast, and you're just going to take a rack. So, and I wanted to just say, if you don't have like actual cookie racks, that's totally fine. This is actually a tray from our toaster oven. It got sent with 2 trays, and we only use one. So rack, and so a lot of times I'll use this for cookies too. So it fits really nice in there, and I'm just going to use that for now. And then if I need these, I have them available should I need it. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in and let this heat up. And again, links are below if you want to check out the one that I'm using here. So the other thing too is what I like to use, and I think it's in my other drawer, is I like to use those cookie press. Makes it really, really quick and easy. Yes, right here. This is just a medium-sized one. You're going to see the process here is really, really simple. And sometimes you're going to find the first few that you do aren't going to be perfect. Just as you get accustomed to how long it needs to be or how hot the plates are. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and move this a little bit at an angle so that you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. Oh, the other thing that I would recommend is getting like a little spatula to be able to lift up the pizzelle. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. And I'm going to do this. I always consider these first ones to be kind of like a test run. Might be a little big. Put it down and then just use this clamp here. You see the steam coming up from all the moisture. It generally takes about 1.5 to 2 minutes for pizzelles. And you just begin to get a feel for it. It should let you know with the light here. There's a little light here underneath. You can't really see it. Yeah, okay. So slightly brown. You're looking for a golden brown look. So we got our first 2 done. And this is really why the first few are always kind of like test subjects, because you're going to see here that, remember I said I felt like I was putting, that was a little big. It goes along the edges. It'll spread out past the imprint design. And that's actually something that, like, don't worry about that. That's pretty normal, but this was a bit much. So I could go a little smaller. This one I did smaller, but it was a little uneven, but that's okay. Now, and I probably did it a little bit long. These are a little brown. So I don't feel like I really need to wait 1.5 to 2 minutes like they say. And that's why I said you have to really figure it out what quantity and the timing. And as they cool, they're going to get really crispy. Okay. So I'm going to do another one here. Not fill it up as much. And you'll notice that I did not grease. These are non-stick. one of the few times I use nonstick. This time I'm gonna wait 45 seconds and see what happens. Okay, so I just checked at 45 seconds. Definitely not done. So we're gonna wait. I'm gonna wait another 30 seconds. Okay, so that's been about 1.5 minutes, and these are good. Do not expect them to be uniform in color all the way across. That is never gonna happen. I don't know why. They don't redo the coils or something so it's more even, but like a pancake, but that's the way it is. And, you know, try and get it in the center. That way when you press it, it's not going to be lopsided. So, all right. And we're going to get about 16 from this batch. And just press it down. And another 1.5 minutes should be good. Once these, so just a quick tip, once these kind of harden, what I do is I then place them, layer them. That way I can fit all 16 here on the tray. So there are other ways that you can also season the pizzelles. So you don't have to use anise. Like I said, you can use vanilla extract. I would use pure vanilla extract. But you can also do chocolate. That's a new one that I started making last year. And yeah, this is good. And those were really good. My husband actually really liked them. And then another one that I did too, that I started making was lemon pizzelles. And I really like those because I feel like those you can use because they're lemony. You can actually use those for weddings and Easter and other times besides just Christmas. I mean, these cookies are so good. It's like a shame to just have them at Christmas time. When looking for a pizzelle maker, make sure that it's for pizzelles, because the other year past, I was getting a new pizzelle maker and I bought one, and it was actually not for pizzelles. It looked like it was pizzelles, but it was called like a crumb baker or crumb baker or something like that. It's the thing with pizzelles is you want them to be as thin as possible. So these are really, really perfect. Like again, they're wafers. They're not chewy cookies. And they will get crunchier as they cool. And if you're wondering when we're going to put the confectioner's sugar on, you can actually do that a few different times. You can do it right before you serve them. You can do that. You don't have to do it when it's hot. I wouldn't do it when it's hot because then the sugar is going to melt from the confectioner's from the powdered sugar. What you want to do is wait till they cool and then press it in there. And that's what we've always done, and it's fine. And you keep it in a tin or in a thing that will be self-contained. And you're really going to have to put a lock on it because they're so good. People are going to sneak down in the middle of the night and start munching on them. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap up. I'm going to continue doing these, and then I'll be back. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and just do the powdered sugar so that we can go through the process. Normally, I would wait about an hour till these are like fully cool and everything, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to grab a plate here, grab the confectioner's sugar, powdered sugar. You want it nice and fine. And then what you're going to do is, and I'll just go ahead and take this small one here just to show you. And well, no, that one's warm. Well, I will go ahead and take this one. This one looks really nice. And you just simply place it in the sugar. And you're going to have to really move it around to get that sugar in there. See the difference once I started moving it around? Because you want to get it in. Oops, I cracked it. So be careful. And then you just tap it off. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to set it aside on another plate, and then I'll put them away. And these can be frozen. You can put them in the freezer and then just take them out and let them thaw, and they taste really good. I've definitely done that before. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a little bite. Now these are messy. When you serve them, and people are going to get powdered sugar on their fingers, so just be aware of that. You know what's really nice about these? Anything in powdered sugar is going to taste good. What's really good about this recipe is that they're really, really crispy. People love crispy pizzelles. And you don't have to add baking powder or anything like that to it. Just follow the recipe that I have, and you'll be happy. I am. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I really hope you try this recipe. Again, make sure this pizzelle maker is really hot. So I did overcook them last night, but this one's like really good. You want that golden color. Tastes absolutely great. And I hope you enjoyed as much as we do. And remember to subscribe. Check out the link below. Feel free to comment. Let me know how they turn out for you, or if you have your own tips. I'd love to hear about it. Well, thank you so much for watching. Grazie. Ciao.